So you heard how great Davinci Resolve is, and you want to learn how to use it. Well, I'm going to explain how to use Davinci Resolve in under 10 minutes. Let's get started. Yo, what's going on? My name is Xavier. I'm a freelance filmmaker, and my goal is to help you learn how to make better videos. Now, as you can tell from the title above, we're going to be talking about how to quickly get started on Davinci Resolve 16. If you don't have Resolve 16 or 15, you can download the free version with the link that I provided in the description notes. All right, so let's hop on the computer and get started. So first thing we're going to do is open up Davinci Resolve. All right, cool. So once you open up Davinci Resolve, you should see a page just like this. Now you can organize projects by folder, so it's really great to organize your projects. So one thing you can do is go down here and click New Project. And for this one, we're just going to name it Tutorial 1. All right, so now that we're in Davinci Resolve, let's go to our media page. This is typically what you're going to land on to begin with. And we want to locate the footage that we have. So I've located the footage right down here in Personal Projects, YouTube, Clips. And you can see that's a lot of clicking, there's a lot going on. Obviously you can do this in the File Explorer. A quick way to set favorite folders is just by right-clicking the folder you want and just adding folder to favorites, and then it will be right down here in your favorites bar. All right, so let's go ahead and drag all of this here. Let's go ahead and drag that all in there, and we're gonna create a new bin. We're gonna call that Clips, and we're just gonna drag all of this in here. Cool. So now we're gonna go over to the cut page. The cut page is really great for making quick edits. You have your quick export option right over here, so if you just wanna kind of get something out really quickly, for example, if you're doing an Instagram post or you're doing vlogs and you want to upload directly to YouTube or Vimeo, this is a perfect way to do that, and you can sign in directly through there. Another great tool for using the cut panel is the ability to change your project settings by clicking this little icon up over here. So basically all your standard typical formats that you would use, so your Instagram posts, your stories, full HD and 4K, and basically with this, what I like to do in the cut page is go over here and go to my source tape. So basically what this does is it brings all the clips I have in my bin and it brings them into my source monitor. So now I can quickly scrub through this, set in and out points where I want them to be. You can hit F12 to put them in there, so that way I'm just not clicking back and forth and back and forth. It makes my workflow a lot better. So just like that, it's really simple to use. You have all your transitions over here, all your simple transitions, and up here, this little timeline here, you can just click around here to quickly move around. There's no zooming on this control, on this little timeline down here. But I find this to be super helpful, so I don't have to zoom in and out. Next thing we're going to go to is our edit page. Our edit page, this is where most of you guys are going to be working. This is where all your fine tuning is going to go down. Your inspector, if you don't see it, this is where you can change all your clip attributes from your zoom, or also known as your scale, your position, your rotation angle, all that jazz. You also have your stabilization, so you don't have to drag and drop it. And then your lens correction, which is really great for getting rid of any barrel distortion. Your effects up here. A few keyboard shortcuts you want to know right off the bat is B and A. B is basically your blade tool, so if you want to go ahead and cut something, that's really helpful just to know that, so you're not clicking back over here. And then A is your selection tool. If you just need to make a quick cut, you can just hit Control B and they'll cut right at the playhead. So the next thing I want to cover in the edit panel, and this will be the same for the Fairlight panel, you can actually add a sound library here. So instead of importing all your sound effects, all your music, you just click Add Library. Find where you want to add the music in your audio and everything. You just select folder. Since I've already done this, I'm not going to select this folder. So you only have to set it once, and then after that, you're all set to go for all your projects moving forward. You do have to update it every now and then, so just be aware of that. Now the Fusion panel is a really great part of Davinci Resolve. However, for all intents and purposes of this video, I will not be going too much into detail. In a nutshell, what Fusion is, you can basically do all your compositing, your screen replacements, your 3D tracking, all that stuff you want to do in Fusion. So without further ado, let's go ahead and move forward to our color panel. Color panel is really great. This is where I basically live outside of my edit and Fairlight panel. So basically you have all your LUTs up here. You can go in here and basically apply your log to Rec 709, or if you have creative LUTs, DJI even has some of their own. And your node trees right over here, you can hit Alt-S to add a node before it, and then if you want to move that, you hit Shift-S to add a node before whatever node you're on. These are all your controls over here, your shadows, midtones, and highlights. This is for your log controls, and your primary wheels, again, your lift is your shadows, your gamma is your midtones, and your gain is your highlights. Offset just kind of does everything. I'm sure you can read all this down here. Your midtone detail is basically like a quick sharpen. You have your curves, your secondary qualifier, your power windows. So basically if you want to, I don't know, track this right here, you can do that by going over here, this little window right here. You're gonna wanna go ahead and just go to tracker and track forward, and it tracks it for you. So moving on to our Fairlight page. So Fairlight is really, really cool to work with. You have all these different types of audio functions that you can do. With the effects, you have your index, which is basically all the audio you have on your timeline, and you can quickly just jump to it. In your sound library, again, we've already covered that. And if you want to record ADR, this is where you can do it. You can record it directly to Davinci Resolve, which I absolutely love, even though I never used it. A really great thing about Fairlight is that you can just kind of adjust the vertical height and zoom in if you want. You can also hit Alt and use your mouse wheel to zoom in, or Shift and scroll to adjust the height, which is super helpful. If you have just one speaker, or you have two speakers or whatever, you can actually just go ahead and adjust the tracks to do broad sound editing. So if you want to apply an equalizer over speaker one and you have speaker one on track one, that's a really great way to do it. And your dynamics are right here. If you're too lazy for that, you can go over here to your effects and dialogue processor, and basically it does all that for you. I personally like to do it manually because I get a better sound out of it. So now you have your inspector over here. Again, this is where all your clip attributes will live. So your volume controls, we'll just hit Control Z, your clip pan, your semitones, which is basically the pitch of the video, so if you, or the audio, so if you want to make it lower or higher pitch, you can do that right there. Another way to adjust the pan is right down over here. This is really cool. It's basically like in a 3D space. You can choose where it goes, you can keyframe it and everything. So I really like that about Fairlight as well. So now that we're going to go ahead and move on to our deliver page, this is pretty simple. Now you can actually save presets on different outputs that you want to put on here, or different render settings that you want. You can also just go straight to YouTube, click this little drop down. So if you're rendering in HD, Full HD, or 4K, which I don't know anybody who's rendering in HD, but this is where you can do that. Same with Vimeo. And then you can also render your master file and all this other stuff over here. So really cool thing about the deliver page is that you can render individual clips by themselves. So if you have a bunch of log footage and you need to send it to a client, obviously you don't want to send them flat muddy footage. You just go ahead and quickly throw a LUT on it and just export all the individual clips. And the next thing that you want to do is just add whatever clips that you want to the render queue. If you have multiple items in the render queue, all you have to do is hit the top one or hit Control All and then start your render. And then you are pretty much done. All right guys, that's a wrap on this one. If you like this video, please consider hitting the like button. And if you want to stay updated on future tutorials and filmmaking gear reviews, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about Davinci Resolve 15 or 16, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to answer them. All right guys, until next time, thanks for watching.